delighted to welcome back some of the cast. Hope Davis. Bill Camp. Gabby Hoffman. John Magaro. And please welcome back Kelly Reichardt. Hi, congratulations and thank you, all of you. So, 2 years ago you told me you were making a heist movie.
Yeah.
And what I saw eventually was not at all what I expected. A heist movie. Can you talk about your attraction to just the idea of the heist and how you wanted to intervene in the genre?
Yeah, I should have said I was going to make an unwinding film. That would have been more like it instead of the heist one. I had a little collection of art heist stories over years, but a few years ago I found an article. It was the 50th year anniversary of these girls that got caught up in a heist in Worcester, Mass. And that was a heist that took place in 1972 by a guy named Florian Monday, who also had a band for a little while before he became an art thief. And so anyway, it was that sort of was kind of the jumping off point. I wanted to make something on the East Coast, get off the West Coast, and I guess the first idea was just to do something that was structural in the beginning and then like let it unwind, yeah.
Where did this fascination with art heists specifically begin? Do you remember?
No, but I went to the museum school, which is right next to the Gardner Museum. So maybe well, actually, the art heist goes on because while the actual days we were filming the art heist, there was a little art heist at Bard College. Snatch and grab.
Where you teach?
Yeah. Yeah. But there's drones now. You shouldn't do it anymore. It's not easy. Yeah.
Bard student?
Yeah.
What was the painting?
There were 2 sketches. I can't remember. I was making a film. I can't remember. But
They got caught?
yeah.
Did they get kicked out of Bard?
Well, Bard, we don't really kick people
No.
out.
I wanted to bring in the actors to this question as well because you've made period films before, but they're very different periods. First Cow with John, and also Meek's Cutoff, both of which we showed. But this is a period that's more recent, and you're drawing on, I don't know if it's experience, but sense memories, at least.
I'm not that old, but yes, it's memories of, yeah, it's 1970. It's a little baby, but yeah, I mean, sure.
I just would like to hear all of you talk about how the film is remarkable, I think, in its textures and how it brings this period to life. And that has to do with everything, production design, cinematography, but also performance. And I'd just like to hear all of you.
Tony Gasparo, our production designer, is here tonight.
Amy Roth.
Amy Roth is here.
I got really excited about my hairdo for the show because Kelly, you told me I was going to have the Cloris Leachman hairdo from Mary Tyler Moore. So that was my first way into my character.
Therese was able to pull that. Yeah, our amazing hair team. Yeah. True. And then there was a film I shared with them, the Jeff Kreines film called The Plaint of Steve Kreines, which is a documentary I love. That it takes place in Massachusetts. Do you know that film by chance? But anyway, the family looked at that. I think at some point as a, I forgot the question.
Period.
About the 70s.
Yes.
Gabby, you remember the 70s?
I do. Definitely. Yeah, I mean, I was amazed at, I mean, there are people in my memory, as you were referring to in terms of sense memory, there are people in my memory that I can access that I still remember very clearly from that time. And as a little boy, observing, and just all of it. It's like all of those textures are just so real and conjure so much watching it, just as a physical response to it for me. And it just makes me lean into it.
It's really not a 70. I mean, the idea was setting it in 1970, which was the idea of America still kind of being in the days of the 60s. So like the sort of hope of the 60s is petered out, and what will the 70s bring? I think it's the year we went into Cambodia, and it's also the year of Kent State. So, not good, yeah, good times.
John,
So yeah, the 70s, my memories of the 70s.
Yeah.
I remember green peas with some brown meat on a plate in the 80s.
Too young to
I am too young to remember. I could lie and say I remember.
no, but like, did you do any research or?
Research.
Yeah. I shaved my beard off. I really did do that. No, I mean, no.
I mean, Josh was a person who more, because I guess just because feeling he wasn't from America, and he made some, you know, whatever, different cassettes for him of cassettes, not cassettes, but whatever. What does people listen to today? Some, you know, just like what would have been on the radio, maybe what his taste would have been, and of course then a lot of the art Dove, but that didn't really involve these guys that much. But
I think Josh, from what I gather, a lot of his research was eating fast food in the Ohio,
area,
Kentucky area.
That's true.
He really liked that. I mean, he's English. He doesn't really know that culture.
I mean, I honestly, I have nothing to say. I wasn't born in the 70s. I did no research. I showed up for 2 days and entered this dream world that Kelly created.
That's the last scene.
I know she was very disappointed that I didn't have long hair. I actually thought she was going to rescind the offer when she found out I cut my hair.
John shaved his beard, you cut his hair. Everyone does their own thing. Yeah.
I will say that for me, the 70s is this dreamy state, because I only know it from these old, beautiful movies. And the set was the dreamiest set I've ever been on. It was the quietest, most incredible set. It felt like anything
You
could
guys have a
happen
cool
there.
kitchen. I remember that right away, that first shot of that kitchen.
I mean, I will say that I'm from Ohio, so I guess I can say this, but there's something about that part of the country that, you know, there's a lot of things that are still from the 70s, you know. Cincinnati hasn't quite aged out of that in a lot of ways. So, yeah, it really sets that tone. The house we were in, the towns we were in, you know, those kind of Rust Belt cities that are in the 70s, especially as the start of the decline of the industry in that area. And you definitely sense that out there.
Yeah, we shot in the Did you say that? Yeah.
Which passes very nicely for
No.
New Atlantia.
For Framingham, Massachusetts, which I've never been to actually, but I lived in Massachusetts. Except for that exterior of the museum is an IMK building that is in Columbus, Indiana, which I thought wasn't going to be in Columbus, Ohio, but it's in Columbus, Indiana. But anyway, that was a nice find. But that's the only time we were sort of outside the area.
That was such a nice shot.
It's in that house, yeah.
It's too bad Josh isn't here, but he's shooting with Joel Cohen.
Whatever.
You know, I know, but, could you maybe talk a little bit about the character of James and also working with Josh? I mean, there's such a distinct physicality to the character. There's a very strong Elliot Gould vibe as well.
I don't keep saying that. Is that right? Yeah.
In a very good way.
Okay, good. It's hard for me to see it now, but I mean, I guess sure. Google's so specific, but yeah, I mean, I kind of had him in mind for the part in the last bit of when I was sort of figuring out the end of the script, and then I met him through the filmmaker Karima News, and I knew Alice, and her film had just come out, and I loved him from God's Own Country, and he was just really versatile in everything he did, and so yeah, we met in New York, and he was game, and so that was pretty easy and cool. But the character, oh God, it's such a long road of writing a script and how things build and just the little kind of salad of people you steal from to make him into a person. And then he brings all this other stuff and turns it into his guy. But I mean, he kind of Josh kind of lived in the world where he really thought he had a good idea and would not have any conversation conceding to it in any way being a bad idea. All the way, he just kept going with that until, till the end, So, but yeah, I don't know, we don't really rehearse, so you don't really know what's happening till, we're there and Alana's there and we're kind of working with each other. But, it's very pleasant. Yeah.
You mentioned this sort of actual heist that you were thinking of. What paintings were stolen, and
Those were like Rembrandts, and he stole masterpieces, he didn't steal doves. The doves seemed right, like Dove came from an industrial town. He sort of thought of as being the first American abstract painter. If you just see, his paintings are quite small, most of them. Like, these are his biggest paintings, and I put him in the first script just kind of as a practical reason, because I knew someone that worked at the Phillips collection in DC, where all the doves are, and I didn't know anyone else that worked at a museum, and so I had no idea how I would get paintings for a movie, or even begin to think about it. But then I went through stages where I tried a lot of different paintings of different sort of sizes and areas, and it ends up being such a big mark on the film according to what the paintings are. And I came back around to doves. Like, I wasn't really sure, like, if you see one dove sometimes, would it seem spectacular enough that these were the, but when you see them together in a space, I start to think, yeah, you can, the presentation has something to do with it. Basically, I found one, like, Dove wasn't very popular in the 70s, or in 1970 or the late 60s, but I found one photo of one show, and we kind of followed that show a bit, but it made me see, like, there was just people at a gallery going smoking, but in a gallery, and so that one image really helped to say, like, oh yeah, this all can work, and he walks by some, like, much more expensive paintings, or more, Dove today it really was a good idea. He was just thinking the long term. But, yeah, so.
Kelly, who thought of the roll down window in the car with the
Well, the car
showed up
picked
on
out
the
the
day.
car, yeah, that was the as a lucky feature of that car. So that became the key car because you'd have to roll down the thing. Yeah.
I wanted to ask you about music. I don't think you've ever used this much music in a film.
It's a lot of music, right? Yeah. That is Rob Mazurek, and our music supervisor turned me on to him. I used some bigger names, like just as temp, and then showed it to her and asked her, our friend Dawn, who, to please give me some people to listen to in this vein. Like, I wanted it to be very minimalist, like a three-piece kind of situation. And she turned me on to the Chicago Underground, with Chad Taylor on percussion and Rob Mazurek. And then I met Rob, and we had a long process of working together as the cut evolved, and him sort of working off his music and turning some music he had already done into new music to work for the various scenes. And fortunately, I'd never worked with a music editor before, but that was great and much needed. And so yeah, it was a huge undertaking. I didn't really foresee what a big undertaking it would be, but it was super interesting, and it put a new element in the editing that was fun to learn about.
I think we have time for only one more question, but maybe I'll just throw it open to all of you. I'm actually a little reluctant to ask it because I love how subtle the film is about its politics. But I don't know, the film really snuck up on me in a way, and it felt like a film that spoke to the present day, especially at the end. And this idea of, this bigger question of the individual versus the collective, and which I think is a theme that, is present in your work. And I'm wondering whether it was something that was on your minds, like obviously not 1970, but today.
I don't want to say too much about it, because I guess I just thought it from a character point of view, that he tried to sort of he's just not that tuned in, because, and he is sort of past the draft age, and like I remember my own dad going like, oh yeah, the draft wasn't really on our mind, I had 2 kids. I was like, oh, how fortunate for you, but so he's kind of, I just sort of treated the political situation on the edge of the frames the way I thought it was in his consciousness, and then just, this idea that it I guess does run through the films of, community versus the individual, and can you really stay, it's just a slippery slope. I don't really want to say too much about it, but just, can you, as we sit here in the movie theater today, with so much going on, can you just get through it and not, are you not part of it in whatever way? Or is everybody part of it? Anyway, thanks for coming.
Would any of you like to add to this, or no? I think that was a good note to end on.
I do know.
Please, John.
Josh's face when the protester and the thing. I think that sums up his befuddlement to the whole situation. It's a beautiful reaction that he gives in that moment. And I'm gonna start a riot.
No,
Why? Get political.
There was one moment, I just saw it, so it's still landing. But that baby on the bus, when I saw that baby on the bus, I thought, oh, this movie's about that baby. Who's gonna take care of that baby? Where'd the dad go? That mom looks freaked out. That baby was really a profound little baby face. So I think the movie's about that baby.
Kelly, I didn't come with you to Cannes, but I saw you speak after the film, and you said to all the French people, you said, our country's in a ditch at the moment, but have faith in us, we're gonna pull out of it.
That was months ago.
I was just gonna say that the film made me realize we've been in a ditch before.
All right, on that note. Thank you. And congratulations.